Alright guys, like I said, I'm going to show off, what I've done so far. And this is all my army. I don't really have anything else. Like I said, it's all totaled up, it's probably 750 points. I bought a couple extra models here with these two. Mostly because I wanted to, have a few options in my group, or in my setup. And just adding these two kind of gives me a lot of different things I can do with my 500 points initially. Okay? So, we start here on the left. These guys here are called Cabalites. They're basically sort of generic foot soldiers for the Dark Eldar. Nothing amazing, but they're not bad against anything either. They're just kind of well-rounded, even troops. Of course, they are fragile as is anything else in my army. Initially, I have 10. They can be called Cabalite troops, or I can also pull a unit out as long as I have at least one unit here. I can take a elite choice of Trueborn, and I can give them, better weaponry and whatnot. In the back here, we have a Venom. It basically acts sort of as a transport. I can carry 5 soldiers, and it has pretty good firepower on it too, from pretty long range. Most of the time you see it, it's probably going to be housing 5-man squad of Cabalites, or maybe the Trueborn. Maybe this character right here. This right here is called Lamian. I don't really know how to say it. We're going to go with Lamian. Anyway, she's cheap as hell. 10 points. So, yeah, she's pretty cheap. The only reason she's here is she's the cheapest HQ choice I can make. So, she's just sort of there to allow me to bring these guys over here. Alright, in the back here I have a Raider. This is sort of going to pull double duty depending on what I decide to bring. You can pack all these Cabalites in it, and they get a bunch of bonuses for being in it, depending on what I put on the Raider. In addition, what it's probably mostly going to be used for is to transport my Harlequins, because it can transport 10, which means I can have a lot more units safely moving where I want them to be. Right up front here, we have a Death Jester right here, and we have a Shadow Seer right here. They're sort of just elite choices for the Harlequins. This one uses spells and abilities and things like that to sort of protect these guys over here. And he's sort of here to do some leadership shenanigans along with this guy here too. So they're just sort of there as special guys to help out, empower the rest of the army potentially, and giving me, like I said before, some more options on what to bring. So these guys here, these front guys are here. These are the actual troop. This guy here is the actual troop master, and he's probably going to be my warlord most of the time. There's not much to say about them. They're just not very good at range, but if they get into close combat, especially with the weapon options they have, I'm hoping they will be pretty frightening. I hope. We will see, right? Alright. Over here on the right, I have what's called a Void Weaver from the Harlequins. Pretty much this and the Star Weaver are exactly the same thing, basically. The difference, I guess, would be what this gun is. But if I choose to use it as Star Weaver, I can just pop this back turret off, and it's a Star Weaver, because it's the exact same model. It comes in the same box and everything. So, there's a good tip for if you're starting and you end up with Harlequins like me. Don't glue this back thing on, because the only difference between it and the Void Weaver, well, this is a slightly different gun, but I would hope no one's gonna, complain to someone who's just starting the hobby that you don't have the right model, blah blah blah. But it's exactly the same ship, so it's probably you might end up seeing it as a Star Weaver at some point too during a battle, but most of the time it's probably gonna be a Void Weaver. All right, and then these right here are called Sky Weavers. They are basically a 2-person jet bike. I put spears on them, but they probably won't have spears most of the time. I just did it because they look cool, but the bolas looked really fragile too, so I was kind of worried about those breaking, so I just kind of went with spears. Yeah, they're pretty cool looking models. They have 2 wounds apiece, which is definitely kind of weird, it seems, but they're hopefully at least be able to annoy. Most of the time you see them, they'll probably be with haywire, just to help kill vehicles, but they normally have cannons on them too, so we'll see how they get used. Alright, well, that's it for the models. I will show off some of the terrain. We have more terrain, but some of it's kind of packed up here. So pan over. So, as I said, it's not fancy terrain. I know a lot of people have all this nice terrain and stuff, but you know, we kind of made some walls, kind of make it look ruin-ish. Some boxes here, you know, kind of ripped up holes in the wall and windows and things like that. And probably can treat like that like a ruin, I guess. This will probably be treated as a ruin as well. It's going to be sort of multi-leveled, as you can see. It's got doorways, windows, kind of a hole in the wall. You know, it is what it is. It's not fancy, but you know, you got to start somewhere, and I kind of feel that this is a very reasonable place to start. This cost us absolutely nothing, so it's absolutely free terrain, and it's completely viable, I hope, for anyone who's starting out. You know, you shouldn't feel like you have to go spend $500 for an army and then $500 for all this like cool looking terrain that you got to assemble and all that stuff, and get really, really expensive, especially when we're starting out. You'd rather put that money towards the models and get more models. Like I said, we might end up looking at trying to improve the terrain. Maybe I don't know yet. Maybe try to add cardstock or something to the exterior and paint it up. So we'll see. But that's definitely down the line. That'll probably happen after we finish painting the models. We're kind of using some little strips here, sort of like little walls or sandbags. We also have a large table, but currently the wife is in there working on infiltration suits. Stealth suits, yes. Stealth suits to kill me. So and Shadow Sun, yes. So she's working on killing me, so that's nice. We also have, you know, like I said, a nice big wall there, another sort of ad-lib together ruin, kind of has, you know, some more multi-tier stuff, and if it has a base on it, we're just going to call it ruins and be done with it. So here's the rest of our terrain. Like I said, we have a large table up here, but that's where the wife's currently working, so that's where most of the games will probably be played, especially larger games, but I think the small table will be okay for, you know, 500 point games. If we need to, then we'll just go buy, you know, like some white particle board and put that on top of another table. So, and we have a nice large table that way too. Anyway, so some more of our terrain. So, like I said, all this is nice, cheap stuff, but hopefully is effective. Say cheap means free. So you have another kind of wall right there. It's probably going to help for the skimmers, but another ruin similar to the other one you guys saw. We have this one, which looks hilarious, but it's kind of fun. So it's kind of got something for people to stand on. This is just sort of here to block line of sight. Same for the other box right there. Needs some, in my opinion, nice big things in the board to sort of break it up, and hopefully that makes things fun. Got sort of like use this or probably like a bunker type thing, because, you know, it's got, as long as you're touching or standing on that, you're being 4-up cover probably. And then another like thing that sort of looks like possibly blasted out, you know, building or something. And then another sort of pieced together thing from scraps, but mounted on boards, and this will probably be used as ruins as well. But, you know, it's got enough hollow walls, it could also potentially be some line of sight blocking, so we'll see how it works. Another one. Oh yeah, of course we have another small wall here. So yeah, like I said, hope this kind of helps give you guys any ideas if you're trying to start on the cheap as well. You know, I mean, I'm sure it probably doesn't feel great to, you know, at least I'd rather play something that looks like this, even if it doesn't look great, than, you know, put like a mixing bowl on the table upside down or something. So, you know, you can do some of this stuff yourself, like really easily. We kind of did this while watching the Super Bowl, actually. So, anyway, it's nice, easy, cheap, and it's at least more. You get more of the feel of the game than you would if you just sort of had like a banana on the table as a wall.